In this week's Flipside column, Dita De Boni looks at the issue of how a lack of deep industry expertise on the board at Fletchers has been blamed for the company's woes over many years. Dita, why is Fletchers under the gun at the moment?
Well, probably everyone mostly knows this story, but just to recap it, obviously Fletchers has a huge market dominance in gibboard, and they own about 94% of the total supply and the distribution of this product. And obviously with COVID, there have been supply chain issues and all sorts of things that have led to the company coming under the gun for basically not being able to supply the building market quickly enough. And so builders are waiting, people are going out of business as they wait for gibboard. So it's caused quite a catastrophe, really.
And the company was also under scrutiny in 2017 and 2018. Why was that? Remind us.
At that time, and you probably know this, Calendar, you probably covered some of it yourself, but at that time, obviously, the company was the favoured contractor of the government. It again had a massive market dominance in construction and was sort of getting these contracts, sometimes in processes that didn't contain tenders, but with costs that they couldn't sustain. So they had, they were offering great deals, but they couldn't make it work business-wise, and they lost a huge amount of money. So at that time also, the board was under scrutiny for its industry expertise.
And were issues raised then about the board's performance?
Yes, people like Brian Gaynor and people like that, Patrick Smelly, and probably the NBR as well, all questioned whether the board had the correct sort of mix of expertise to properly scrutinise the contracts that were, or the big projects or the work that was going out there. I think Brian Gaynor was one who said that, the expertise was wide but not very deep. So in those days, people who were corporate board superstars were on the board, but not many people from the building industry itself who would have been able to see what was wrong with the business model, perhaps a bit better.
Have similar issues been raised now?
Yes, so it's quite interesting that in 2017, the New Zealand Shareholders Association asked for then board chair, the then board chair to resign, and this week they've asked for the current board chair to resign, and also for all board members to reapply for their jobs and to run a couple of very thorough reviews that are made public about what's gone wrong with the gibboard supply and distribution. So it just shows that I think that, it's about maintaining the market positioning, and that's what they've really focused on over the years. But that in itself has created a lot of difficulties in the way they operate, and also that lack of expertise, the lack of people from the building industry has created many problems.
The government's now got involved. What are they planning to do, and do you actually think it's going to help?
Well, today, Minister Megan Wood, this will be Tuesday, Minister Megan Wood has said that the government will set up an inquiry looking at the gib supply and distribution in the country. Will it help? It'll take a long time to help because these issues are very entrenched. It goes to the heart of Fletchers, the way it operates. And I think the government might be able to secure more supply from around the world, but they will have to undo years of Fletchers sort of buttressing their own dominance in the domestic market. That won't be easy, but it's a good start, I suppose, that the government's taken this lead today.
You also mention Minister Nanaia Mahuta in your column. How does that relate to Fletchers?
It was just an observation, really, that Minister Nanaia Mahuta, Foreign Minister Nanaia Mahuta, has been sort of accused of giving nepotistic contracts to her partner and her sister in government, where the government is now moving to a sort of a co-governance model that is requiring consultants, as any kind of change like that does. There have been there's no proof so far that she's done something wrong. It appears to be due process, but it was just interesting to see the reaction to her as opposed to the reaction of boards when they go wrong. They're both kind of closed shops. They're both put in charge of public money, and they both have expectations. They're supposed to be keeping the system in check and keeping it operating properly. But I found that I think the tenor of criticism about Nanaia Mahuta is much more pointed than what comes at boards, even though they both could be argued to be closed shop systems.
Dita, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.